My favorite feature of the pop-up camera has to be the CELS. What is CELS? The camera edge lighting system. This is the first in the world to have this. And of course, apart from looking really cool, it has one key functionality, is when you are taking a selfie, everyone in your group is automatically drawn to where the camera is. They automatically end up looking at the camera, and you get perfect selfies every time. What happens if you accidentally drop your K20 Pro while taking a selfie? It also has drop protection. It senses a fall from the gyroscope. It'll tell the CPU, which instructs the motor to withdraw the camera, and before it falls, you are safe. Now, in case you dropped it from a very low height and the camera didn't withdraw, we've put in another protection to it. The front camera lens is protected by sapphire glass, so you don't get those scratches. So, amazing amount of engineering gone into this one moving part. So, of course, you've got the sapphire lens. You've got a magnetic switch which detects accidental presses for the pop-up camera. Of course, the gyroscope detects if it's getting a fall and retracts the camera. And it is tested for 300,000 cycles, ensuring that through the lifetime of the K20 Pro, you will not face any problems with this one moving part. Now that's about the quality part of it. Of course, it is a brilliant camera. It is a 20 megapixel camera in the front with all the cool features that you expect from a Xiaomi flagship. So you've got AI scene detection, you've got AI portrait mode, and you also have something called a panorama selfie. So when you are standing with a huge group, you just move your phone around and you can capture the entire group in one shot. We've got AI triple camera, again a first for Redmi series in India. And these cameras are interesting actually. So you've got three cameras. However, there's been a little trend of sorts where you put triple camera, but one camera is pretty much not doing anything, right? You call it depth. We decided not to have that. Pretty much like in Xiaomi India, Manu has a job for everyone. For these cameras, each camera has a very critical job to do. Of course, the first one, or the primary camera, is a 48 megapixel camera. And this is Sony IMX586 that a lot of you already know. Has been absolutely loved on some of our devices. There's an additional 13 megapixel ultra wide angle camera. And this is wider than any other ultra wide cameras available in the market today. And we've added a third one, which is a telephoto. So you get incredible details as well as an ultra wide mode. And if you need to go closer for portraiture, you also have an 8 MP. None of them are not doing anything, I guess. None of them are just depth sensors. But not just this. I mean, the camera system is a lot more complex than it. There are three cameras. Along with that, there's also a laser autofocus, right? And, of course, you have the dual LED flash. And all of it works together to give you really different perspectives for every capture. So when you capture with the 48, or you capture with the 13 megapixel ultra wide, or you go closer to the subject with the 8 megapixel 2x telephoto, all of them gives you a very different result. Essentially, cameras are for the creative folks, and this lets you unleash that creativity in the best possible way. Let me talk a bit more on the 48. Now, this is the Sony IMX586. It is the highest resolution camera sensor available today. And if I can probably say that, nobody knows 586 better than Xiaomi does. Right? We've got it on most amount of devices. And of course, we've been tuning it ever since we were one of the first few to launch this. And it's become even better. Now that 48 is combined with a f1.75 aperture lens, giving you incredible details. If you take a look at this particular image, right, the detailing is absolutely top-notch. You can see every window. You can actually count the floors on all of these buildings there. And this is the magic of 48. However, what's interesting is this is just a part of that 48. Captures a lot more. And of course, we know the advantage of having a high resolution camera sensor. Versus a 12 megapixel, not only do you get more information, but you also get better clarity when you're pixel peeping and you're going really close. So you get that advantage with the 48 megapixel on the K20 Pro. But 48 megapixel is just not enough. Like I said, you need to know how to tune this. And we've done exactly that. If you compare it with other people carrying a similar sensor, let's take a look at this one, right? So you've got the OnePlus 7 Pro, which also has a 48 megapixel camera, and you've got the K20 Pro. You can start seeing that difference. Actually, if I go closer, you start seeing even more difference. If you think the flower is pixelated, it is by design. It's a Lego. But you can start seeing the difference in terms of the overall exposure it's able to kind of manage and the colors. And this is where Xiaomi's enhanced AI as well as camera optimization really comes to the fore, and it stands out. Now that's the 48. I'm going to move on to the next camera, which is the 8 megapixel telephoto. And this comes really well in handy when you're going in for those portraiture shots, when you're trying to capture a subject like this one. And this 8 megapixel does an excellent job there. But not just that, suppose you're trying to take a picture of an object, it again shines. If you take a look at this particular image, right? And this one actually has been shot through one of our fans, Biswajit, who is part of the Mi Explorer program, and this is an absolutely brilliant image there. So thank you, Biswajit, wherever he is. When we look at telephotos, we also did a bit of a comparison here with the 10S as well as the 7 Pro. And let me go a little closer to show you the differences. Not only is the detailing and light on the face a lot better, but if you look at the crown, again, all that information that you can see on the K20 Pro is far ahead of the other two. So it does a much better job there. Now that's been the 48 megapixel main camera and the 8 megapixel telephoto. We've got a third one, and this one obviously is a magical camera lens. It's a 13 megapixel ultra wide. It's 124.8 degrees. It's wider than anything else out there, and of course lets you capture a lot more. Why do you need this? So for example, when you're taking a shot like this, right? Now this shot again was by Vivek. He was part of the Mi Explorer program. When you're taking a shot like this, camera's AI will automatically detect that this is a landmark, you're too close to it, and it will recommend you to move to the ultra-wide mode. And when you move to the ultra-wide mode, you see the entire picture. Right? So putting them side by side, of course, this 124.8 does a magical job when you're trying to capture these landmarks, when you're capturing a lot more information from that angle. And to move between each of these lenses, we made it super easy. So just plain UI gestures, pinch in or pinch out. It's really easy to kind of move between each of these lenses. There's also a visual indicator of 0.6, 1, and 2x. So it becomes really easy. From a camera perspective, we've also added a night mode. So you get that incredible 48 megapixel adding on to this night mode through a super pixel technology. And what you get along with that is laser autofocus. So fast focus even in the dark, which means you get incredible night shots like this one. Now, these are things that you've seen from Xiaomi in the past. There's one more new AI algorithm that I wanted to talk about, and that is called AI skyscaping. And this is quite incredible. Let me get into the images itself. Now, this is an image that was taken in Pondicherry. It's at about 7 in the morning, right? So you see that beautiful mist coming into the land, and you've got a nice, peaceful landscape happening at the back. Now, with Xiaomi's AI engine, you actually can change the entire sky at one click. And that becomes the main sunlight mode. It's not just the sky, but if you notice, the entire lighting on the buildings, on the subject also changes. Look very carefully. I'm going to go into dusk. So it looks absolutely realistic. Now this is a lot of AI firepower coming in behind, but for us on the K20 Pro with that much performance, it happens in an instant. And of course, if you want to make it look really dramatic, you also have a sunset mode. Everything changes. The light on the buildings, the light on the subject, as well as, of course, the sky that you notice. So we are introducing this for the first time on the K20 Pro, the AI skyscaping. And of course, one more thing that Mi fans have loved, we're adding 960 frames per second slow motion. And at 960 frames per second, obviously what you see is a lot more. And along with that, you get 4K UHD recording at 60 frames per second. Now this is slightly different because all three cameras